This meeting is being recorded.
We're gonna have to have that like added into the eventual intro music of just like this.
Yeah.
Uh,
Either that or you gotta mask it with the intro music.
yeah, it's important. Welcome to the third episode of the Tilt Report, James and Jeremy. If you guys have been following along, this is a podcast where we're just kind of going over some industry news, talking about what's going on in the DFS realm today in terms of slates and things that you need to know about, and just general bullshittery. Talking about things that are annoying or things that are worth knowing. So my name is James, as usual. We're coming out of the AllStar break. This is Jeremy. How you doing, Jeremy?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, how's your PGA build this morning, or did you build last night?
I built last night at 1 a.m. and then woke up at 5 a.m. real quick to just check things, and then went back to sleep, and now I'm here. So no, I'm feeling good about PGA this week. It was a interesting decision. I mean, this week sucks in terms of like the field. There's so many bad players. But no, I'm feeling good about it. I like these weeks a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the weeks, but these weeks are kind of super interesting. And I still feel like we fill contests, which is great, which I didn't expect out of like such a shitty week.
Yeah, I like this field a lot. I like weeks where guys who have no business winning can win. Those weeks.
Yeah, I always think it's funny that on like Thursday or Friday, Saul Goodman will tweet out the like top of the leaderboard, and he'll be like, "Nice tournament."
No, nice tournament you got here. Yeah.
It'll be like 10 totally crap golfers. Just I always get a kick out of that.
How much Sungjae M did you end up with?
I locked him. So yeah, in my article for ETR, what I said to subscribers was, to me, in large field GPP, you should either lock or fade, just like full on 100% or 0%. I think that's the way to go in these situations, especially when he's so much better than the next guy. Like Shane Lowry was the next guy, and we were talking about Shane Lowry last week, and that guy was priced like 7,400, while Sungjae was, I don't know, I think he was like 88 or maybe even 9,000, and it's just. Sungjae's won this tournament before. Just he's an ascending golfer. You just either you got to take a stand. You can't just play 40%. At least in my opinion. I know other people do it differently. Cody Main would chide me for that because I believe he's playing even with the field. But like I locked him. I think I like to lock in these situations. I locked Rahm in Mexico last year. It worked out well for me. I've locked Rory at another occasion. I don't know. I don't remember when. That did not work out for me. He missed the cut that weekend, I'm pretty sure. But it is what it is. If I win, then I'm really winning. If I lose, then fuck it. Like my weekend is free. So no big deal. No sweat off my back.
I think, okay, so there's 2 points that I want to make on this. One, when a golfer or anybody in any DFS sport, whatever, is going to be 50% owned, I think matching the field is just like the most pussyfooting thing that you can do. Like just take a stand one way or another. Matching the field on somebody that high owned gains you basically no relative value. And as much as I understand the concept of like, oh, well, you if you're playing like GTO or whatever,
yeah,
you just want to try to match the field and then find your edge elsewhere. Like maybe, I don't know, the Paydirt models had Ash K Bhatia as like a really, really good value this week. Yeah. Like if you wanted to take stand on him and be above field on him and 50% on Sungjae M, I guess, whatever, do your thing. But I would just so much rather, especially in a situation like this, I relate most things to baseball. And this is the second point that I want to make. I relate most things to baseball, and one thing that you can leverage very, very well in MLB is when bad pitchers are overpriced and when good pitchers are underpriced. And a situation like this where Shane Lowry was 7,400 last week, and like you took a stand on him and it worked out well, and that's great. But he's like over 10K. He was what, 10.6 this week?
Yeah, I think he was 10.3. I think he was 10.3 this week, but yeah, more or less.
I mean, we're talking like $3,000.
Yep.
You know what this situation is? This is Julio Teheran on a Sunday. You never play 10K Julio Teheran. Like, it doesn't matter what the pitching pool looks like.
Yeah.
He's a 7K pitcher. He just did, like, relate it to what his average price tag is across the season, like when the field is good, and just don't overpay for somebody. It's the same thing in PGA. Don't overpay for golfers in a bad field just because they're like the best golfer. They're still not a super great golfer.
Yeah.
So that's the way that I look at it. I did not play Sung Jae in my one entry. I have one in the 200, and I ended up fading him. I went with kind of a mid-range build. I didn't really want to play Sung Jae or Shane Lowry just because I think the amount of ownership on them in a tournament like this is a hard course. And even though the field is soft, like I think that it's kind of anybody's game here. When the favorite to win is plus 1,000, I'm just not going to play that. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And especially in single entry where that's going to be like Sanjay's probably like 60% owned there, right?
He's like 45% owned. Yeah. And
okay.
I'm just not going to do that. Yeah. And that I was interested. I was surprised by that too. I thought he was going to be high owned. I still played him at 40. I might have played him at 30, but I wasn't going to play him at 40.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he would be higher than that. I think in the 3,000. I think he's 60% in the 3,000. I'm not in it, but that's what I heard at least.
Yeah. I mean, he should be high owned. I understand why he's high owned. I also understand the value in fading him. So that's the PGA stuff. We're coming out of AllStar break right now. So NBA is back tonight. I am, of course, fucking lit with joy about that.
yeah. I feel like it's the biggest thing that you tilt about is NBA.
Yeah, man. NBA. It's nicer when I'm not playing. Like, I'm done playing NBA. I pretty much stopped playing, I don't know, 2 weeks before the All-Star break because things just get nutty. They just get really dumb. And I have fun for baseball too. So I think spent on putting together the baseball models and getting that stuff ready. But NBA is back. I think that it's worthwhile to kind of talk about what you should expect with NBA. So if you're newer to the DFS industry, or if you just have not really paid that much attention to what happens after the All-Star break and maybe why you lose so much more after the All-Star break, there's two reasons. One, it's a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. I think that it will be better this year. I will say that. I think that the Western Conference standings are so close that I don't think that we're going to see a lot of teams just like throw it into the gutter. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of teams rest their guys. Then every win does count in the West. In the East, different story. Obviously, we have a lot of teams over in the East. But because of the fact that teams will be tanking or resting their guys, whether based on playoff seeding, you're going to see a lot of weird rotations. So that's the number one reason. The number two reason is anybody still playing NBA with any serious sense at this point in the season is really good. The skill level, the skill gap between players widens a lot as you get towards the end of the season, mostly because people have lost their bankroll going up into the All-Star break. Yeah. A lot of casual players stop playing. A lot of people who aren't super great at NBA lose their bankroll, aka me. And so you're just pretty much playing the people who are the best of the best at this sport. And this goes for every sport across the industry. The last probably quarter or so, the last 20% of the season, you're pretty much just playing the best of the best. You're playing the grinders, you're playing the pros, you're playing people who still have bankroll. Like, you're playing people who really care. So those are really important points to make. So do you have any advice for people still playing NBA this late in the season?
First, that's a really interesting point. That second part with, it does get sharper. And I feel like, especially as MLB comes around, one of the things that I feel like a lot of casual players like to play MLB. Is that correct? Because like there's everyday contests. Because I feel like there's a difference in the player pools or the DFS pools when MLB starts versus when MLB is not playing in NBA at least. Yeah,
there's casual money that comes into MLB. I wouldn't say that it's the same amount of casual money that comes into NFL and NBA. Like the beginning of the seasons is like super soft. That's where you make all your money. Baseball season certainly has its soft money. I don't necessarily think as much that it is casual play and casual money coming to the player pool. I think that it's just mostly a lot of people just way underestimate the variance of MLB. Even the pros, even the really, really good players, they latch on to. I remember years ago when I was working with Daily Roto, they had Francisco Liriano. Remember Francisco Liriano?
I remember him.
So,
Lefty guy threw like 100.
yeah, but super volatile. And like, would just get blown up. I was working with Taylor Roto. This is one of the reasons why Dink like had a problem with me for a little while. And I was building out my own projections and my own models to play as well. And my models hated Francisco Liriano, and Taylor Roto had him as the top overall play on the slate. And I was telling subs in the Slack, like, no, I'm not going to play Francisco Liriano because my models don't like him. And he got fucking annihilated. And I took down 3 GPPs that week because of that on like opening day. And Dink and Leone were both just like, enjoy your blood money, asshole. It's completely against the little stuff. But I mean, that's something that happens. People overestimate their ability to project outcomes, especially early on in the season. So I think that the soft money for baseball kind of comes from both casuals coming in and people being mostly just overconfident in their models.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, back to your earlier point, it's funny because I actually never thought about post All-Star break NBA versus pre All-Star break NBA. And I just realized all of my like big GPP wins have been in like January, Feb, and I haven't won shit after the All-Star break. So maybe I should stop too. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I've definitely seen in various Discords, people will be like, all right, guys, like I'm done. Like I haven't won anything this year. I'll be back next year or something like that. I've seen multiple people that I wouldn't say are casuals, but they are not like pros or anything like that. Definitely quit after the All-Star break. So I guess that makes sense. I will be playing. I'm still pumped up. I feel like I'm one of the better players in NBA.
I think you are too. Yeah, you should be able to still take advantage of that. I think there are.
Yeah, I should. I haven't in the past years, but maybe this year will be different. I've only been playing for like 3 years, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I have FBWC in March, on March 11th, so I got to stay sharp. But yeah, no, I mean, that makes a ton of sense. I have to make sure I think about the trends like that a little bit more in the future.
Yeah, it's an important point to make. So I want to move forward because we do have to cut this one a little bit short and talk about some industry news. So I saw something kind of interesting. Like there's been a lot of rumblings over Run Pier lately. Like we talked about Hoop leaving on the last episode. Yeah. And now AP is doing like a lot of like Twitter self-promotion and like talking about his old like heat maps and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's just like because they reintroduced the heat maps back over at RPS, because I know they did that. Yeah. But like he's doing a lot of like follow AP stuff and like a lot of self-promotion. And to me, somebody who's worked for a lot of companies, that kind of signals like, hey, like I might be on my way out. So
that's what I would think.
That's something worth monitoring. I don't think that RPS has gotten any worse since Hoop left, and I don't think that it would necessarily get worse if AP left. But it is interesting, like the way that companies kind of start to not crumble. Crumble is the wrong word, but like fracture, I guess. Even successful companies. Really weird. Yeah.
When you win that money, people start to want to do their own thing. It's like a boy band, right? Like Harry Styles leaves One Direction or something. Maybe Hoop is their Harry Styles. I actually don't follow AP on Twitter. I probably should, just for news sake. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if he's like promoting himself, like maybe he's going the Joe Holker route,
He's gonna start throwing a whole bunch of threads out there. Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard a lot of rumblings about that kind of stuff, and I want to be clear, like this is not me downplaying what RPS is able to accomplish with or without like those guys. But it is just really interesting to watch, and I think that it's something worth paying attention to. I don't know why you would leave after a company has become successful, but that's just me. I mean, I wanted to stay with Number Ball after it got successful, and I did not actually have that option. So I would have preferred to stay and Paydirt. If Paydirt ever ends up getting up past 1,000 subscribers, like it's not like I want to branch out and leave. And, like you build something successful, like why leave? I don't know. It's weird. So That's something.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about the DFS industry is that, you know, it's obviously not like a traditional market or traditional like corporate company, right? Like there aren't that many places you can go and be like, oh damn, I've reached the pinnacle of DFS. Like, you know, obviously you have ETR, RPS, Paydirt, stochastic, you know, whatever it is, and like that's pretty much it. Like if you want to be a tout, then you're going to join one of those sites, and like it's not, you know, you don't see very many like new sites pop up or anything like that. So it's interesting when you're already part of something like RPS, and then if you're branching out, I don't know what you're branching out to.
Right.
You know, like just your own thing, or like maybe I get it if you want to take a break from DFS or something like that, and you're like, all right, I've made enough money here, I want to do something else. I get that, but I mean, if you're promoting yourself, you're probably planning on doing something after that's related. So I don't know. We'll see. I feel like we keep saying we'll see about this RPS stuff. I mean, Hoop hasn't changed his profile, I'm pretty sure. So he's kind of laying low, it looks like.
He for sure left. Like that's the other thing. He for sure just like he's done.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely posted in their Discord that he's gone. So
and then this Bobby Hare dude came over and he's been crushing it. So good for that. Finally good replacement. What do you got for your final words, DFS related or not?
Yeah, I always got to be prepared for these final words. You've the past two, you're like, give me some final thoughts. I'm like, oh shit, what am I supposed to say to these people? You know, I obviously the past week has been pretty slow with no NBA, and basically just PGA. I did play some NHL, which we didn't get to talk about on Tuesday. I got waxed. I did almost cash though. I had Tavares and whatever. I think they played Toronto. Yeah, I played Tavares and like Mention or Murin or something like that. And that went up well. But anyways, closing thoughts. No, we came off a nice break. I talked about last time the importance of mental health. I'm pretty recharged and ready to go. I hope people took some time off and didn't like grind NHL or grind something else like that they don't love. But yeah, only thing I would say is take breaks, do what you love. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, whether it's DFS or professional or even personal stuff, don't do it. It's the easiest. It sounds like the easiest thing, like the cliche that find a job that you love. Honestly, it really does work out. Like I've been working at my professional job for 10 and a half years at the same company. And, I still love it to this day. So, and that has kept me going. It's also given me like the time to play DFS because I know that I'm going to get the job done professionally and like in a very efficient manner because I like actually what I'm doing. And it allows me to do other things that I like doing too. So that would be my, I guess, semi-professional, semi-personal, semi-DFS closing thoughts.
Yeah, I'll echo that first off and say, I say all the time, just do things that you want to do. And I understand that sometimes you don't have the option to do everything you want to do, but you can always do something that you want to do. My closing thought will be reticent of and respect yourself and your boundaries. There's been a lot of people lately in my life that have not given themselves the respect that they deserve. And understand that if you wouldn't treat you the way that you're being treated, don't associate with that person. It doesn't matter. Like there's a sunken cost fallacy of friendships that have lasted a long time, and there's no reason to continue a friendship that is making you feel like shit, or continue a relationship that is making you feel like shit. Like you can just choose to be happy and choose to put yourself in a position that is less toxic. So those are my final thoughts. Again, this has been episode 3 of the Tout Report. My name is James. I'm joined by Jeremy, and we will see you guys next. Saturday. Yeah, right. We'll see you Saturday. Yeah,
2 days. We'll be past the cut in PGA, so I will be either in a really bad mood with 100% Sanjay or a really good mood with 100% Sanjay.
And I will hope that he's in a bad mood because I faded. All right. Well, see you guys on Saturday. Adios.